T2 chip, Apple Silicon. The encryption key is fused to the hardware. Image the drive without the device credentials, you get useless ciphertext. There is no extraction, no bypass, no recovery key in Active Directory. Apple changed the forensic game with the T2 in 2018 and finished it with the M1 in 2020. If a CHFI examiner wants the data, they need the device unlocked or they have nothing. Welcome to macOS Forensics, where APFS, the Unified Logging System, and hardware-fused keys define the modern Apple investigation. APFS container and volume architecture. An APFS container is a disk partition formatted APFS, contains one or more volumes. An APFS volume is logical. All volumes share the total storage pool. Default macOS layout. Macintosh HD, read-only signed system volume, SSV. macOS 11 and later, Macintosh HD-data, user data, writable. Pre-boot, boot support files, recovery, macOS recovery environment, VM, swap, and virtual memory. And the critical concept, signed system volume. The system volume is cryptographically signed by Apple, mounted read-only. Every file has a hash seal. Any modification breaks the seal. Forensic implication. System files cannot be modified by malware. Any modification is immediately detectable. User data and applications live on the writable data volume. That is where malware persists. That is where evidence lives. Unified Logging System, ULS. Introduced macOS Sierra, replaced traditional syslog, all system and application logs in a structured binary format, stored at /var/db/diagnostics. Long-term logs in /var/db/diagnostics/persist. UUID metadata at /var/db/uidtext. Query with the log command. Log show --last1h. Recent entries. Log show --predicate process equals Safari --last1d filter by process. Log show --start timestamp --end timestamp. Time range. Log stream. Live logs. Log show --debug. Include debug messages. Log collect --output evidence.log archive --last7dt export for offline analysis. Offline analysis is hard. Files are .trace v3 binary. Tools. Consolation. Mandiant Unified Log Reader. Magnet Axiom has built-in parsing. Critical limitation. Logshow requires running macOS. For an image, use cross-platform parsers. Plist files. Property lists. The macOS configuration format. 3 formats. Binary, XML, JSON. Binary is most common and cannot be read directly. Convert with plutil -convert XML1 filename.plist or print with plutil-p filename. Or on Linux, plistutil or Python plistlib. Forensically important Plist locations, ~library/preferences/com.apple.finder.plist binder preferences recent folders. com.apple.recentitems.plist recent documents and servers. com.apple.loginwindow.plist login window settings last user. com.apple.launchservices.plist default application associations /var/db/receipts package installation receipts. What was installed and when. ~library/application support per application data, often Plists or SQLite databases. The exam will ask about plutil conversion. Memorize the command. Launch Agents and Daemons, the macOS persistence mechanism. 4 locations to check. ~library/launch agents per user runs as the user. /library/launch agents system-wide runs as each user when they log in. /library/launch daemons system-wide runs as root /system/library/launch agents and daemons Apple signed SSV protected. The malware persistence locations are the first 3, not the system library that is locked. Malware drops a plist that defines. program or program arguments, the command to execute, run at load, run at login or boot, start interval or start calendar interval, scheduled execution, forensic processing, list non-Apple launch agents, ls tilde/library/launch agents, user persistence, ls/library/launch daemons, root persistence, read each plist, look for unusual program paths, outbound network connections, suspicious command arguments, Spotlight. macOS's system-wide search and indexing engine maintains metadata for every file on the system. Database location /.spotlight-v10 on the root of each APFS volume. The main index is at store-v2. Forensic value contains metadata for files that have been deleted. The index entry may remain. Records file paths, creation and modification dates, file types, content metadata, can prove that a file existed even after deletion, may contain content excerpts for text files. Query live with the mdls command. mdls path to file shows all Spotlight metadata for that file. mdls-name attribute name shows a specific attribute. Offline analysis with Spotlight_parser by Dave LaSalle. Or magnet axiom Celebrite. Combined with FSEvents, the macOS file event log, you can prove file existence and deletion even when the file is gone. Quarantine database. macOS's equivalent of Windows Zone.Identifier ADS. Tracks files downloaded from the internet. Location tilde/library/preferences/com. .apple.launchservices.quarantine events v2. SQLite database, query directly with SQLite 3, fields you need to know. LS quarantine agent name, the application that downloaded the file, Safari, Chrome, Mail. The LS quarantine data URL string, the URL the file came from. LS quarantine origin URL string, the referring URL. LS quarantine timestamp, the download timestamp. Critical. The timestamp uses core data epoch, January 1st, 2001. Add 978307200 to convert to Unix time. Memorize this conversion. Then FSEvents, the kernel file system event log /.f7d on each volume. Binary log files, records file, created, modified, deleted, renamed, attribute changed. Applies to all files on the volume, including inside containers. Can prove files existed and were deleted even without Spotlight or directory evidence. Tools, F7TSD-tools, Blacklight, Celebrite, Magnet, Axiom. 3 more macOS artifacts, iCloud, local cache at tilde/library/mobile documents. Files in iCloud Drive may be evicted. Only a placeholder remains locally. File name ends in .iCloud. Content is in iCloud, requires legal process to obtain. iCloud metadata remains even after files are deleted locally. Time Machine. Incremental backups using APFS snapshots on modern macOS. Provides historical snapshots. Recover deleted files from earlier backups. Always examine backup drives during macOS investigations. Tmutil list local snapshots and Tmutil restore for specific files. TCC database. Transparency consent control. Located at tilde/library/application-support/com.apple.tcc/tcc.db plus system level TCC at /library/application-support/com.apple.tcc. Records which apps have been granted access to camera, microphone, location, contacts, calendar, full disk access, screen recording. Critical for understanding what apps could access sensitive resources. Query with SQLite 3 and tilde/library/messages/chat.db. SQLite database with iMessage and SMS history synced from iOS devices. Apple's Forensic Universe. APFS with signed system volume. System files cannot be tampered with. Unified logging system for everything. Log show with predicate filters. Plist files, convert binary with plutil, launch agents and daemons for persistence. Spotlight survives deletion. FSEvents records every file change. Quarantine database for download attribution. Core data epoch conversion. Add 978-307-200. Time Machine for historical recovery. TCC for privacy permissions. T2 and M1. Keys fused to chip. Without device credentials, you have nothing. Domain 7 is complete. Next up, Domain 8, Network Forensics, Objective 8.1, PCAPs, Wireshark, NetFlow, C2 beacon detection, the wire level evidence that lives on every modern investigation.